hii Kenya iko na maajabu. Ati tunajenga stadium. Sasa tunajenga stadium na huyu ni kiongozi anashika microphone anaambia raia ati wanakopa 44.5 billion Kenya shillings. Ilikopwa last year ati ni ya kujenga stadiums. Wakapeleka bank kama collateral pesa ya sports fund. Waka raise board ati mkopo ya 44.5 billion Kenya shillings. In 15 years Kenya will pay interest rate alone of 100 billion shillings. Na mtu anakuja anaongea ati apigiwe makofi na Wakenya. Kenya cannot continue to be mismanaged in this manner. Kama tumekaa tunaweka the future generation.
Okay, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope you are doing well wherever you are, guys. Guys, I always say that Kenya is the country that everyone is admirable country and everyone is need to come and visit Kenya. So I don't know if you are aware between Ndindi, Nyoro and William Ruto what is going on towards those two people, because conflicts is there towards those people, William Ruto and Ndindi Nyoro, because Ndindi Nyoro in parliament alikuwa kama wazimu, akasema ya kwamba Kenya is a high time to open their eyes so that they can't be like the ancestors years ago. So this Kenya is not Kenya of someone, is Kenya of everyone. Watch, then I will come for more reaction. But remember to sub, to like, and to comment.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Ndindi Nyoro.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for this chance. And direct to the point, I have listened to the CS, and there is actually no space in his speech about the view of Kenyans. I'm yet to meet one single Kenyan who is in support of having this quarantine in Kenya, Honorable Speaker. And it is important for the government to know that the government exists for the welfare of Kenyans. And Kenyans know when their space is being cropped, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the US budget in terms of health is 860 times ours. Their technology is better in all respects, including biotech, Honorable Speaker. They have better capacity to handle these kind of issues than Kenya. Honorable Speaker, while the CS is here, I would request him. Kenyans have spoken in one voice. We do not want that facility of Ebola here in Kenya. Please listen to the Kenyan voices. And Honorable Speaker, as the CS is here, the CS should actually bite himself and the obligations to what the Kenyans are looking forward to. Lastly, Honorable Speaker, in terms of the fragility of our health sector, and also listening to some officials from the US proclaiming clearly that they do not want any case of Ebola in their country, how reckless would the government be in doing exactly the same that which the country that is the US do not want in their soil? As Kenyans, we refuse. The government must listen to Kenyans and desist from having this quarantine in Kenya.
Yes, Mama Zamzam.
Asante Mheshimiwa Speaker, na mimi pia niweze kumwelezea waziri ndio Ebola na kujitayarisha ni kitu kizuri sana, kwa sababu hawa ni majirani zetu, wengine wanatuuzia kahawa umumu, wengine wanafanya nini, lakini iwe ni kama kukinga wa Kenya peke yake waziri. Lakini waziri, ikiwa na mimi nataka niwaambie hata wale wabunge walikuwa hapa, kwa sababu inasemekana hiyo ilipita hapa bunge hapa, na Ndindi Nyoro ulikuwa hapa kwa hii bunge. Kwa hiyo ni vitu ambavyo mngeweza kukataa wakati ule ili isiweze kupita, mumpatie rais wakati mgumu. Waziri, mimi napenda kusema tu kama Mwamerika amekataa kule kwake, hapa Kenya tukubali, na nasikia katika counties 20 ambao walikuwa wamekubali, Mombasa ilikuwa moja wao. Kama mama Mombasa, sitaki kuona mzungu kule anatibiwa Ebola. iwe kama itajengwa ni ya kuangalia watu wetu peke yake. Waziri, sisi ni kitu kizuri na tuna support kama tuwe na preparedness, manake sisi ni majirani, huwezi jua, na wanasema ina spray na unyevunyevu either through sex ama maji ama mate, hizo vitu tumesikia. Lakini sasa huwezi jua kitu yote za kutokea. Mheshimiwa Spika, kitu chochote chaweza kutokea. Na ikitokea iwe ni sisi wa Kenya peke yetu, isiwe kuwa ni mtu mwingine anakuja kutibiwa hapa, waende kwao ama warudi Kongo, kule walipata ugonjwa watibiwe Kongo. Asante sana Speaker.
Yes, Ichungwa.
Honorable Speaker, first I don't know whether Honorable Zamzam, but the Deputy Speaker tells me Honorable Zamzam is actually right, because the Minister did
But
speak
that's
about
what the Minister said.
bodily fluids.
She simply said what the Minister said.
So bodily fluids
Except
could
the
be
Minister-
transmitted in many ways.
The Minister didn't speak in such good Swahili. Or at all.
So thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, let me first begin by thanking the Minister for this statement, because as Honorable Sarah Correa has said, is indeed very elaborate. And also to note, Honorable Speaker, that at the time this agreement was tabled in this House, I highly suspect the Honorable Aden Duale, as leader of majority, is the one who tabled this report in 2015. And the subsequent one tabled in 2022 was tabled by the Honorable Kimunya, my predecessor, as leader of majority. And it is true that the agreement between the Republic of Kenya and the United States was tabled, debated, and ratified by this House. Therefore, even as we speak, I know there's a temptation, Honorable Speaker, to speak to the gallery. And I wanted to begin by asking the CS to clarify just one thing that he has already said in his statement, but which many of us probably did not hear, or we have blocked our ears from hearing it. And because I have the privilege of having a copy of this statement here, Honorable Speaker, the CS did state that the proposed Ebola treatment and isolation unit at the Laikipia Air Base is part of the 23 similar units to be established in the country as part of our preparedness and response. So I would want first CS clarify to us and to the country that we are not establishing one isolation center at Laikipia Air Base. The one at Laikipia Air Base is one amongst 23 others. Two Honorable CS, including some of the ones, the minister did name a few, including one in Busia, was it Alupe or somewhere?
Order. Gone.
Two, Honorable Speaker, I want the minister to clarify to us and to the country something again that he has said in this statement, that this isolation center is not being established for foreigners exclusively. The minister has said that we have two Kenyan banks with Kenyans, our sons and daughters working in the DRC, some in Uganda. We have 450 of our armed men, our armed officers, who have given their lives to protect our lives in this country and the region, our region of peace. Should any of those 450 of our officers, our sons and daughters in DRC, God forbid, catch the Ebola virus, where shall we take them? Do we take them to America? Do we leave them to die in the Congo forest? Or do we establish isolation centers as any responsible government and administration would do to make sure that should you, Honorable Speaker, this weekend, I traveled to Rwanda. Honorable Speaker, I traveled to Rwanda as a Kenyan
Yes, Millie, what is
Any
your point
other
of order?
Kenyan would have traveled to Congo.
Yes, Millie.
Sorry, Mr. Speaker, I had to interrupt the majority leader, especially now that I'm in leadership of the broad-based. But I'm just wondering, is the honorable member in order to imply that the United States of America is irresponsible by not setting up their own facilities in America? Because Kenya is responsible setting up one in Kenya. Are you in order implying that America is responsible by not setting up in their own country when they are a superpower and we are a minion power? Are you, even Honorable Buru is still looking for power and you are bringing, are you suggesting that America is irresponsible by any chance?
Honorable Millie, are you saying that America is incapable of being irresponsible?
Mr. Speaker, I am actually asking for clarification. I am not saying,
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I plead the Fifth Amendment. I just want to know from the...
Okay.
Honorable Speaker, in direct response to my sister, Honorable Millie, I am very well versed with our standing orders. I would never allude to the irresponsibility of a friendly nation on the floor of this House. I will not do that. But my point was, Honorable Speaker, back to my point, that as a responsible country, should we or should we not have isolation centers? Because this disease, we can't run away from the fact that it is there, and it is there in our neighborhood, in this region. Therefore, the question that I wanted the CS to clarify,
Yes.
and I'm saying this, Honorable Speaker, deliberately in a leading manner, so that the CS clarifies for us and for the nation, this isolation center, from what I read in his statement, you know, Honorable Speaker, the problem is that members don't listen, like Honorable, the member for Aldai is making noise and distracting me. And that is why maybe we may have missed some of the issues the CS has said. Because my understanding, and that is the clarification I sought, was that this isolation center is for preparedness, even to cater for Kenyans who may catch the disease, whether it is a staff of KCB, Equity Bank, or one of our armed officers who are working in DRC. Should they catch the disease, for instance, the military, the natural thing would be, if I was the commander-in-chief or the CDF, airlift anyone in an isolated manner to the airbase, to the isolation center there, to be treated there. But a truck driver, Honorable Speaker, who
Senator,
catches the disease in DRC, in Goma, and probably is detected at the Busia border. Is there a facility at the Busia border? Because I have read about the laboratory testing there. Maybe among us, the 23, the CS should also clarify, where are these other 23 centers to be established? Do we have them around the border with Uganda and where the trucks are passing, both legal and the illegal crossings? Because I see in his statement he's spoken about the legal crossings. But there are also illegal border points. What are we doing? Lastly, CS, on your preparedness, you have spoken about the contact tracing. We're at about 100%, 87% on laboratory readiness, rapid response teams at 90%, infection prevention and control at 56%. But you have also told us that we have kits for the first 200 suspected cases. And that is where preparedness comes in, Honorable Speaker, and I hope the CS can tell us, have you then prepared? Because I've also seen your request. You are saying the first 100 cases will cost about 2.686 billion. Is this money already provided for in the budget? Or should we, as we go to the budget process, now factor additional resources for this preparedness for Ebola? Because the first 200, if we learned anything from COVID, to get from 0 to 1,000 cases would take less than 3-4 weeks. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, I will just seek those clarifications. And Honorable Speaker, let me just close by saying this. Ebola is a dangerous disease from what we have seen. But as a country, we must be prepared. And those isolation centers ought to be there, but they cannot be exclusively for others to use without Kenyans. And I think that's the very critical clarification. Because, Honorable Speaker, you know, in closing, this country, as Michael Joseph once told us, we have peculiar habits. Now, as politicians, many of us are very good experts in Ebola. And many Kenyans, almost all Kenyans now are experts in Ebola. Let us hear from the experts, including the doctors here.
Waziri, let him respond to those. But before that, Minister, allow me to acknowledge your children from Starehe, Nairobi, Gijiwe Methodist Fellowship from South Imenti, Meru, and Githurai Mixed School, Ruiru, Kiambu. On my behalf and on behalf of the House, we welcome the students, their teachers, and those accompanying them to Parliament. Minister, you can proceed to respond. Thereafter, we'll take another round, which will be the last one.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I am ready to answer the valid questions by our honorable members, my colleagues. But Honorable Speaker, we are dealing with a very abnormal situation. And I want the House to look at the Public Health Act, Section 35 and Section 36. That mandates the Ministry of Health to take all the necessary action to protect and safeguard the safety of our citizens, our visitors, and all those who live within the borders of our country from any of the infectious diseases. To my sister, Honorable Sarah Korere, but before even Honorable Speaker, I answer that question, first, I think for information, we have 12 counties which are very high risk. These counties are Nairobi, Mombasa, Uasin Gishu, Busia, Kisumu, Bungoma, Trans Nzoia, West Pokot, Turkana, Homa Bay, and Migori. And this is because of the air, the road, transport, and the northern corridor. Then we have got high risk. The first one was very high risk. The high risk counties are 13. These are Vihiga, Kakamega, Nakuru, Kericho, Nandi, Kiambu, Machakos, Makueni, Kilifi, Taita Taveta, Isiolo, Elgeyo Marakwet, and Garissa. Honorable Speaker, again, for the information of the House, as of today, we have designated, verified 3 major hospitals as treatment centers. Kenyatta National Hospital, the Kenya National Police Hospital, MTRH in Eldoret. Secondly, we have also identified that we are in the process of completing the isolation, the treatment center of 2 hospitals in Busia. And I want to urge my sister, Mary Emase, even before COVID, the people of Busia and the country as a large, under the Ministry of Health, agreed that Alupe Hospital, a research center, is one of the very few infectious research hospitals. So in terms of qualification, that hospital is the most qualified because it's a research and infectious. Where have we done that? So in Busia, we have Alupe Sub-County Hospital, Referral Hospital, and we have Kocholie Sub-County Hospital. The reason why we picked on those 2, you know, that is where the biggest crossing.
For the record, it's called Kocholia, not
Kocholia. Kocholia. That is where the epicenter, in terms of crossing, from either DRC, our tracks, and the movement are. But we are doing assessment of these sites in the following counties. And Honorable Speaker, under the Public Health Act, we don't need to do public participation. We are not going to consult citizens. Even members of parliament here, when they fall sick, they rush to their doctor to make sure they get the best treatment. So this epidemic does not require any consultation. Tomorrow, God forbid, if Ebola is found in this country, this house will call me back here to this chair to ask me why are Kenyans dying. So before Kenyans die, before Kenyans are infected, we as a government have a moral, constitutional responsibility to protect both Kenyans and other people who are non-Kenyans who live within our border or who transit within our country. Honorable Speaker, on Laikipia Air Base is one of the 23 quarantine isolation center we are building. And we will not stop it. Why we are building? We are building in the air base, far from even, and there are a number of reasons why. The runway in Laikipia is one of the longest runway. That is where we have KDF medical team. That is why even our 450 Kenyans who are serving today under the UN, our special forces, the quick response unit. I'm the speaker, I was a minister for defense. I went to Ituri. I know all those areas. Those who have gone to Lumumbashi. Kenyans, the biggest hospitals in DRC are run by Kenyans, are owned by Kenyans. So we must protect, Mr. Speaker. So Laikipia will protect both Kenyans and the US. Honorable Speaker, when we had the COVID, and some of us were members of parliament here, the UN, the US, and many other international bodies built a hospital in Nairobi Hospital, a UN specialized hospital to deal with COVID. There was no noise that time. We have a responsibility to protect residents.
Let him respond.
Honorable Speaker, on what the Secretary of State, Mark Rubio, said, that if it was said by the Minister, the Secretary of Health, I will respond. But I think that is an area for diplomats. The best person to respond to this House is the PCS. Because if it was my colleague, C.S. Kennedy, Alupe have answered very well. Laikipia we will build. Honorable Ndindi Nyoro, I think you are a bit very unfair. Because if all counties refuse to host isolation centers, the way you are suggesting, where will the Kenyans who will be infected, God forbid, go? I mean, as a leader, I don't think that way we can be irresponsible. And I agree with you, Madam Zamzam. Semen is part of the fluid. You are right. You are right. I saw people laughing at her. Body fluids. When we talk of body fluids, there are different types. Semen is one of the body fluids. So, Honorable Ndindi Nyoro, I really want to urge you, my very good friend, if we say every county refuses, then where are we going to treat Kenyans? Are we going to treat them up in the air? We as a government have a responsibility. We can still even create another isolation center in one of our barracks in any part of the country. If today it was in Mordecai in Garissa, in Isiolo, so it will treat both Kenyans and foreigners. And please, let us not politicize it. The document that we signed, and it was for the good of our country. It's the good of our country. It was good for our country. Kenya, Honorable Speaker, is number 2 in terms of healthcare delivery. South Africa is ahead of us. And very soon, even the US that you are praising having a very good healthcare system, I can assure you, under the good leadership of President Ruto, we will become #1 in healthcare delivery in another 10 years. Honorable Kimani, I have given all the 23 on our table of all the isolation centers, including, let us not politicize the health of our citizens. And I want to ask a question, Honorable Speaker. A Kenyan who is in DRC crosses today. He passes through the scanners in Busia.
Minister, you are not here to ask questions.
Yes.
Give a hypothesis.
No, Honorable, I want to compare with the US one.
Yes.
If a Kenyan crosses and then the scanners don't detect as having Ebola, the incubation period for...
Okay guys, let us proceed with our reaction. Hope you have subscribed on this channel. To give the channel a support of subscribers, please subscribe, like, and even comment on the channel. So with William Ruto and Ndindi Nyoro, what is the problem? You are president of Kenya, and Ndindi Nyoro is the member of parliament of Kiharu. But it seems like there is a problem towards those two, because jinsi maneno yanatokea ama the way Ndindi Nyoro is talking in parliament, it seems like they were not in good relationship towards William Ruto. So that's why I remember I told you that there is impeachment in the parliament, which is ahead to be impeached of William Samoei Ruto before comes 2027. And you can agree with me that those people who had that thing with a high percentage is Ndindi Nyoro and Babu Owino. They were saying that is a high time Kenya to have something new, and that is to make sure William Ruto is going home as quick as possible, because you will agree with me by saying that Ndindi Nyoro amesema ya kwamba Kenya ambayo tunaishi si Kenya ile ya kitambo, Kenya mababu zetu, kwamba hauna haki ya kuzungumza, hauna haki ya kusema lolote, hauna haki ya kujieleza. Kenya ambayo tunaishi saa hizi ni Kenya ambayo kila mmoja anatazamia yale ambayo anahitaji na vile vitu ambavyo anataka viwe. Na sasa jambo ambalo linaendelea baina Ndindi Nyoro na William Ruto ni kwamba Ndindi Nyoro yani kila kitu ambacho William Ruto anakifanya, Ndindi Nyoro anakikataa na anakuwa mpinzani wake, na and against the words of William Ruto. That's why utakubaliana nami ya kwamba Ndindi Nyoro ameingia kwenye opposition na akaingia zaidi. Na guys, kuseme sana ukweli, ukiangalia Ndindi Nyoro kazi ambayo ameifanya, anarankiwa kuwa the best member of parliament in Kenya, na maendeleo ambayo amepeleka kule kwao ni maendeleo ambayo kwa hakika imeshinda hata watu wengi kutekeleza. Na that's why utaona ya kwamba watu ni mtu ambaye watu wanampenda, watu wanamdhamini, watu wanamfurahia kwa kile kizuri ambacho anakitenda. Because I want to tell you that if you are doing something good, automatic people will love you, people will respect you, and people will honor you. But hasa kitu ambacho kinasalisha uhusiano usiokuwa bora baina ya government na opposition, ili swala la kufanya nini, ile swala la kujenga quarantine in Kenya. So hilo swala ndilo swala ambalo watu wamelitolea macho, watu wanalizungumzia, watu wanasema hivi, wanasema haya, kisa na maana ya kwamba hawataki that quarantine ijengwe in Kenya. But according to the William Ruto and the member CS of Health, amesema ya kwamba is must quarantine ijengwe, is must affected people from Congo, American citizen ambao wamekuwa affected there waje Kenya. So Hiyo ndiyo inasababisha those people wakwe mad, kwa sababu wanashangaa ni kwa nini hawasikizwi. Hope you have seen the video, hope you have liked the video. Please remember sub to like and to comment.